Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jackadan, and in this video we're going to be doing a track guide for the Miner's Lament track in Star Citizen. This is the first zero-G track that has been introduced officially by CIG. This can be found in both Arena Commander and just a few clicks away from Grimhex in the Persistent universe. Now before we get started, I want to quickly mention a few things. As I said, this is a zero-G track, and if you're new to zero-G flight or even flying in SCM, I would highly recommend checking out a previous video that I made on this topic. I've linked it in the description below and we'll put it in the video cards as well. It'll give you a solid foundation for the techniques that we'll be using today. This track consists of 22 checkpoints and it's quite advanced. It'll be very easy to get lost if you don't know the way already. So just follow the track guide, follow the arrows on the map if you're going to be running it in Arena Commander, and after a few attempts, you will start to understand the flow. Given the nature of the zero-G course, a lot of people like to take things differently. Where you see me go right, a lot of people like to flip upside down and go left. So find the style that works for you. But in this guide, I'll be showing you how I've learned Miner's Lament and what I found helped me to run this track consistently, smoothly, and safely. Now, the key to the zero-G track is mastering your speed control. And while it's tough to get it right, with enough time and maybe with this guide, you can do it as well. For this video, I will be showing you both how to fly it in SCM and we'll be doing the guide for the track in SCM mode, and then later on I will be showing you how to run the track in Nav mode. But before we dive in, if you find this guide helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Star Citizen racing content right here on this channel. Without further ado, let's jump into the guide. Right, so assuming that we're going to be starting from the same orientation as the start-finish, we're going to go straight through and immediately start rolling to the right. Essentially what I want to do here is I want to take a 90-degree turn because the next checkpoint is going to be slightly under the flat side of the square. So I'm going to be rolling 90 degrees and I'm going to be rotating my ship to the right and using my mains to bring that vector indicator forward. From here, I want to aim to the bottom left of the box if I'm looking at it from this orientation, because the next checkpoint is going to be just behind the asteroid. So now I will roll, I will level myself to the two corners here, and I'm going to aim right at the corner of this box if I'm looking at it from this orientation. And by keeping my nose right at the asteroid and push with my mains, I'm immediately aligned for the next one. I'm going to slow things down here, and I'm just going to show you that with just mains and pointing the nose into the asteroid, I'm essentially orbiting this entire section. And I'm able to hit both of these checkpoints with one movement. It's important to approach it with speed and then control it during the turn to allow myself that slingshot. Now, as I approach this next checkpoint, I want to stay to the bar right corner here and do the same thing. I point my nose in, use the mains, and I just kind of slingshot myself around the section. Once again, I'm approaching this from a bit to the right, and be very careful because there is a caterpillar right in the middle of this track here. So you can either go over it or to the right of it, just don't stay too low here. Right here I go over it. And once again, I am going to point myself to the top left corner of this next checkpoint. I'm going to push my nose into the asteroid and I'm going to use my main slowly to control my turn here. You can see the arrows here. The next checkpoint is just going to be to the right. So I'm just going to stay high and just use the mains to allow myself to go through this checkpoint and come back down here. So once again, checkpoint is going to be to the right. So I'm going to point my nose at the asteroid, glide in. I'm using decoupled here, very important. And I'm just going to keep slingshotting myself. Now the next checkpoint is up that ring at the top there. So once again, I'm going to, again, push my nose into the rock and try and get a line through here. And as soon as I straighten up, I can just push here. Now I am an SCM, so as soon as I let go of the boost, I will slow down. Now the next checkpoint, very important one here. It's at the keyhole right at the back. So what I would like to do is I just cut a line from the middle of the checkpoint straight to it and try to align myself so that when I turn and push with my mains, I'm immediately aligned to it. And now I can just full boost all the way through. And as soon as I get to this rock here, I just slow down and just let the SCM brake pull me back down. So the next checkpoint, you can see both these arrows are turning me exactly the angle that I need to take. So I'll just roll slightly. Turn in once again. This is the most important technique here. Pointing my nose at the asteroid and then using my mains. You can see the TVI just gliding to where I need it to be. And I'm just using mains here. So I just push forward. And now I'm exiting to the next checkpoint. Once again, I want to take a wide entry so I can slingshot around, so I will go to the bottom left part of the checkpoint and slingshot right. So as I'm approaching, I'm pre-turning. Once again, that nose is pointing into the asteroid, and I'm using my mains to slingshot myself around. This is the biggest trick both in SCM and Nav mode. And for this next checkpoint, when I'm using Arena Commander, I like to use these arrows as a reference, so I kind of just want to stay as close to them as possible, and as soon as I see the gap opening up, I do the same technique that I've been saying, so nose into the asteroid and using your mains to push through. Trying to maintain as much control of that vector indicator as possible whilst managing my speed. You could see again, I'm still pointing my nose into the asteroid and just using my mains. This is very, very drifty playstyle, but this is how we need to control 0G with the current SCM egg. And that, with this technique, is a 152.5 lap in SCM mode with the P72 Archimedes. Now moving on to a full Nav mode run with the M50, we're going to be using the exact same techniques, but now it all comes down to manual work. So I'm controlling my speed as much as I can, and the biggest difference here is because I have to control my speeds manually, the same technique we've been using of having to point the nose into the asteroid just gets exaggerated, right? So if I need more angular momentum, I will just turn in more. So whereas before I could always kind of keep the nose of my ship in sight, with this you could see that I am drastically turning the M50. A technique that I like using here is as soon as I get to this checkpoint here, I switch to SCM and back in. So you could see that the nav indicator flickered for a second and now it's spooling up. During this time, my ship is locked to SCM speed, so you could see my speed is drastically dropping, but it comes back up to nav speeds just in time for me to be able to pick up my speed again and slingshot myself around this corner. So you can see now I'm in nav speed and I can immediately just get back on the throttle and shoot myself back up to those high speeds. Once again, same thing as we slingshot up here. Now, this one is a very important part in nav speed where we can get a lot of time. So I'm drastically turning my ship, doing the same technique again, pushing forward, and now I'm full sending it all the way through. And I'm using this rock as my brake mark. You can see I'm reaching up to 1,000 meters per second, but as soon as I get to that rock, I swap down to SCM speeds. Once again, a quick flick, SCM and back to nav, and you can see that my speeds are dropping and dropping and dropping a ridiculous amount. I went from 1,000 meters per second to 300 meters per second, got back up to nav speeds just in time for me to be able to slingshot into the ski hole at a much more reasonable speed. So make sure to, while we have these speeds available to us, use that SCM brake, and once again here, just constantly using the nose into the asteroid, kind of like the same orbiting techniques that we use. We slingshot around these sections. This is a very, very advanced track, and it will take a lot of time, and head tracking is a very, very, very advantageous piece of hardware to have. So if you have it, highly recommend you use it. So there you have it. That was a full breakdown of the Miner's Lament track in both SCM and Nav mode. Most important takeaways here are to focus on finding those turning points, the SCM braking if you're using Nav mode, and to always be mindful of your speed. Speed control is very, very important in any 0G environment, and practice using those orbiting techniques where you put the nose into the body that you're trying to circle around, and then using the mains to bring that vector indicator around with you. That is the most important technique to learn for 0G flying in general, not just racing. But with enough practice, you'll be able to navigate this track with confidence, safely, and at speed. I hope this guide helps you shave some time off your runs. If it did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Comment down below if you have any questions. I read every single one of your comments, and I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have. And you can also join me on my weekly streams on Twitch and on YouTube if you have any questions or you want to catch me live. I will link those in the descriptions. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching until the end, and I will see you guys on the racetrack.